the fifth solar plane of the Lord Makhimsih, Lord Buddha, the Granhisiam solar plane, shimmering gold crystalline, the Shinhoth ray of creativity. This plane is one of the most beautiful in the 12th solar planet. The air is one mass of moving, scintillating gold dust in the light of love, and it is perfumed. The androgynous beings who live in this fifth solar plane go unclothed, as do those in the Granhisiam, the first solar plane. For you to look at them, they would appear to you to be encased in a finely beaten golden armor, and yet it is not of a metallic substance at all. They are sexless, as are all the beings on the solar planes. They have within them the golden creative ray, hence their appearance. All the buildings on the Granhisiam solar plane are gold, but the transmitting towers which transmit the rays to all the planets in God's universes are finely tipped with silver, because the golden creative ray is tipped with the silver love ray of the great Lord Josiah's, as are all the other cosmic rays touched with silver. The great laboratories are given over to the higher spirits of this solar plane, where experiments are undertaken which are directly connected with the golden ray. These laboratories are also golden, and those who work in them are clothed in a type of surcoat during their experiments, a coat similar to a rubberized material. That is the best word I can think of in your language, implying that insulation is necessary for the body, for you must understand that there is always a danger in the experimental handling of these concentrated essences of the God rays. The bodies are clothed all over, the head included, except a small slit in the covering through which the eyes can see. The floral growth is of every color of the cosmos, and is very beautiful. There is no undergrowth, or low-growing things, by virtue of the fact that the fifth solar plane is the very heart of the great creative ray which acts as a sort of stimulant in the Granhisiam solar plane. You can of course, quite understand why this should be so. The great temple is circular and roofless, but is not entirely void of covering, which consists of a gigantic golden web, fine filaments of interlaced golden metal, rising to a peak in the center from which this beautiful web is suspended. Upon the topmost point of this is what you would call a golden image of the sun, spherical, with rays, not artificial rays, darting out from this central ball. Directly underneath, on the floor of the temple, is placed the stone of worship. This is golden too, of a far greater gold than yours, is the gold of the Granhisiam solar plane. It is of a great brilliance which would make your gold appear very dull. Upon the stone of worship rests the great bowl of incense, another, of golden flowers, and a bowl of water. There are 12 circular steps leading up to the great stone of worship, and each tread is carpeted in the colors of the 12 solar planes, the 12 great cosmic colors of which you are now aware, all rising up to the stone of worship. In the temple rites of the solar planes the worshippers stand or lie prostrate. There is no kneeling. The floor rises in tiers, so that all can see. A great organ is played at the temple rites. This instrument is constructed of a substance resembling golden glass. It is crystal clear glass, flecked inside with the golden dust of the creative ray. The tones of the organ are deep and mellow. There are few high notes in this one. The tones are softened trumpet tones, tuned into that stature of music with the great creative ray of God. At a period of that hour of the day which you call dawn, actually, there is no night or day in the solar planes. A certain period before work begins, there is a great rite, the rite of worship to the great and adorable God, whom the inhabitants of the solar planes know so well and love so deeply. The floor of the temple is made of golden blocks. For want of a better word I will call them stone. They look like stone, but are not stone really. All around the circular walls, blossoms are placed in great jars of lapis blue color, which are amazingly beautiful in contrast with the gold. The predominance of gold is not hurtful to the eyes. We can look upon it with the solar eye without hurt, which the human eye could not. Life in this solar plane is very busy. The creative ray never ceases in its work for God. Therefore there is much employment and above all a deep sense of responsibility to God. They are seemingly solemn people who live on the fifth solar plane, but they are not really. They realize the great responsibility in guiding the course of the creative ray for this universe. It is a stupendous task of love which they undertake, gladly and most willingly. And above all, towers the great figure of Makhimsih, and forever one sees that golden headdress, the curls of the creative ray of God. That sweet, solemn, beautiful face means much to the inhabitants. He is to them the star of their existence, the great Lord entrusted by God, a great son of that adorable God, and he does his work in all humility for God. The children are androgynous and born of the breath, and as they grow to maturity they play a great part in the God work. Even the babies learn to form things with their tiny fingers. They form mosaic patterns. You can recognize them on earth in the inlaid fragmentary mosaic work, in the minuteness of the brush of the artist which comes from the fingers of the tiny androgynous babies. The silver love ray of the silver sun of love, Josiah's, passes through the fifth solar plane, as it does through all the solar planes, and the great silver brush tinges the beauty of the golden ray, as does too the power ray of the 12th solar plane, bringing the power of love to creative efforts. Language, as a spoken tongue, is more articulate on this plane of Makhimsih, and, therefore, they are able to learn the languages of yours and other planets, if those chosen have to contact these planets in the service of God. The whole existence is one long working life and is as a paean of praise to God. And from the great organ in the temple there ascends a praise in a harmony of the fifth solar dimension, a sound of exquisite beauty to the ear, gentle, soft, to that great God of love. Thus is the Granhisiam plane one of the most beautiful of the solar planes.